Hello everyone and welcome to Cisco Collaboration Group. My name is Amit Singh and I welcome all you guys on my YouTube channel as well as on Cisco Collaboration Learning Group on Facebook. Just to remind you all, it's not um, official Cisco group. It's just a private group for anything and everything related to Cisco collaboration. And I hope you guys will have nice time and you guys would like the content that I have been sharing in this group. So with this, let's get started on today's topic. And today we are going to discuss about how do we upgrade the Cisco Unified Communications Manager IM and Presence from version 12.0 to 12.5. Right, so let's get started. Okay, so let's see what actually is involved while you do an upgrade from Cisco Unified Communications Manager IM and Presence server from version 12.0 to version 12.5. And let's see if there is a bit of a difference because I noticed while reading through the planning and installation guide that there is a slight difference how you could upgrade, and let's go through each step and we would do the upgrade practically now. All right, so let's get started quickly. Okay, so the first thing that you would do is, go to the upgrade and migration guide for Cisco Unified Communications Manager IM and Presence release 12.51, and then have a look at what are the steps, what is the planning and the tasks that are involved. So the upgrade tasks that you see are really simple. You just go through it. There are different kinds of upgrade methods. So the first method that they are talking about is direct standard upgrade, wherein you know there is no upgrade of the underlying operating system, like there is no upgrade of the Linux operating system, for example. So it's just the software upgrade of Cisco Unified Communications Manager. Here they have given an example. So for example, if you have to upgrade from version 12.51 to 12.51 SU1, then you could use just a direct standard upgrade. So there is no difference in the files, but in the steps inside the upgrade is a little bit of a difference. And the next is about direct refresh upgrade. And what is this direct refresh upgrade? Is an upgrade where your application software and your operating system, so the Linux system, will also be upgraded. So as I have currently the version CUCM version 12.01, so let's migrate it to version 12.151 and SU2, right? And then there is third where you have a direct migration where you will be migrating the hardwares. So in case you have some old ESXi hardwares and then or old UCS servers which is not at all in the support contract anymore, or you have the very old CUCM versions where you like to change the chassis. For example, if you had MCA 7800 series chassis or appliance for CUCM 8.5 and before, in that case, you could do just the direct migration path, and then yeah, there are also some other migration from legacy relief that a lot of guys would be having. This maybe 1% of this customers still have these systems, but today we'll be doing something called as a direct refresh upgrade. Okay, what are the things that we need to know about? So we need to see what are the supported upgrade and migration paths. So the supported migration for 12.0x is using an OS admin page directly. It's a direct refresh upgrade, or using a CLI upgrade, or prime collaboration deployment upgrade, direct refresh, and then PCD migration. All right. And today we are gonna have a look about how could we do the upgrade using a CLI, so that you could really see what's going behind, what are the files that are being upgraded, and what are the steps that are being taken. Okay. All right. The next thing that you see here is the version switching is supported. So what does it mean, for upgrades, but not for supported for migration? So what does it mean? It means that, for example, you have upgraded from version 12.0 to 12.5, and your 12.5 had some problems, and you couldn't solve it in time. You have to revert back or switch back to the older version. That is supported. That is possible with this direct refresh upgrade, but that isn't possible using the migration steps. Now the third step that we already discussed is we'll be using a CLI upgrade and not OS admin page. So we are gonna load the image on the CD drive that I'll show you, and then we are not going to need an SFTP or FTP server for this. And then we are gonna need some COP files to install or upgrade from 12.01 to 12.51. Okay, and here are the things. Here it says Unified CM 12.5x to 12.5, direct standard upgrade, no COP file required. And here as well, if you see that there is no COP file required, but if you go um, into the, okay, I'll talk about it in some time. So let's see about the most important thing now is what are the deprecated phone models for this release. So there are some phone models that has already been deprecated, so that's not a part of this release because these models are already deprecated in 12.0, and these are the phone models that are already deprecated in 11.5. Sorry for the German. So 11.5. Okay. And so in this release there is no phone model deprecation or depreciation, some people say. And the next thing is about licensing. Of course, 12.x license, if you have 12.0 license, so you could migrate to 12.5. It's not needed, right? Here are some network requirements you can read about. You need an SFTP or FTP server. And then it talks about some subnet limitation, cluster size, and IP subnet masks, and software requirements. After going through this, the first thing, the most important thing that you should look about is requirements of a 12.5 software. What kind of virtual machine is capacity, or how much compute storage is needed for 12.5 virtual machine. So what I have deployed is I have deployed a 150 user nodes. So it requires two virtual CPUs, 4 gigabit of RAM, and 80 gigabit of virtual disk. So if I have a look at, let's say I had 12.0 initially. So my 12.0 150 user node had two vCPUs, 4 gig of RAM, and 80 gigs. So there is, and one VNIC, of course, and there is no change my virtual hardwares, right? The next thing that I would look about is the supported version of ESXi, and it says here that the minimum ESXi supported version is 6.5, and then onward. So 6.5, 6.7, or 6.5, whatever, I think 2.1, or I don't know what it is called, but sub a version of 6.5. Okay. In case of 12.0, it was supporting 5.0, U1 and upwards. But you see here for 12.5, it needs 6.5 and above. So not supported versions, unsupported versions are 5.5, 5. Or 6.0. Okay. And then now let's talk about how can we download the softwares. Okay. Or yeah, before even talking about the software, let's talk about the upgrade tasks. I just click on this upgrade tasks here, and then here you will have the tasks. So the first task is about downloading the upgrade file. Know. And then here you will see that there are two things that are very important is you have to download this IM and Presence service upgrade ISO file that's needed for the upgrade. And then the second is you would need to download these two COP files, important COP files, which is in version 12.5, I guess, because I haven't upgraded 12.0. I don't know about it, but I think it's also needed in 12.0. So you would need this pre-upgrade and post-upgrade COP files so that what pre-upgrade file would do is check if your network or system is ready to be upgraded. And if there are any issues, it will tell you, okay, these are the issues. Please clear those issues before you start with the upgrade, else it will give you the problem. You know? And then the second part is post-upgrade. That means you have installed or upgraded your version, you have done a switch over from version 12.0 to version 12.5, and then after a switch over you will again run a COP file, and after running this COP file it will tell you if the network is again fine, if your cluster is again fine with the latest version, and compared with the pre-upgrade COP file if there are any issues between the network or OS or anything, you know. If there are anything, it will let you know after a post-upgrade test. I think that's very important. That was missing, but now we have this. You know? So let's get started. Let's see how can we download for this direct refresh upgrade the ISO files. So you have to go to cisco.com, and then from here you can just browse to unified communications, and then you can just uh, click on unified communications application. As I am upgrading presence, so I will go to presence version 12.5. Then I will say I need updates, right? And here in the update, you will see restricted and unrestricted version. It always I always use restricted copy. And then the next two COP files that we need for the upgrade readiness check is this one. So you have to download these two files here. So this file here, this is for post upgrade, and this one is for pre-upgrade, right? So download these files and then copy it somewhere where you can FTP, where you can have the access via the SFTP client or server, and then also download the ISO file and upload it onto the CD drive or make it available via the SFTP. I'm today gonna use the CD drive because it's easier, it's a little bit faster for me. So let's see how we can do it. Okay, so let's go to I've logged into my vSphere client, and in this vSphere client this is my virtual machine for Cisco Unified Communications Manager IM and Presence. I will just click on edit settings, and in this settings I would check what are my CPUs and what is the memory and what is the hard disk. I'm just using one vCPU because it's in my lab, but if you are doing it in your production environment, please make sure that you check the requirements. For example, I think here the requirement is two vCPUs, or yeah, here the requirement is two vCPUs. So make sure that you have the right vCPU, right? Once this is done, just go to CD, DVD drive, data store, and then just connect the data store ISO file to that, and then make sure that you have checked connected here so that it connects your virtual CD DVD drive, and say okay. And once you are done, once you say okay, and you just then can log into your Cisco Unified Communications Manager. My Cisco Unified Communications Manager is, oh sorry, I'm in Presence is this. you're logged in, you could just say utils system upgrade. Okay, what is it missing? Okay, utils system upgrade initiate, and then it will try to find out the COP or the ISO file or whatever it is. But before we do it, let's quit it. But let's quit this because first we have to check the pre-upgrade so that we could do a pre-upgrade test. All right, so before even you start with the ISO upgrade, let's start with the pre-upgrade test. I'm sorry for the confusion. So I have just kept my files in the SFTP root and FTP root and made sure that the file is available to the Cisco Unified Communications IM and Presence, the COP file that I mean. So let's run that same command again. Utils system upgrade initiate, and then it will give you these three options of the sources. So either from the SFTP remote file system or whatever. I will say the first thing I will do is option 2, and directory server is my local server. So now it will look for the valid upgrade files or COP files, and then it will provide an info, but it says no available. Let's see what's wrong. The FTP service was not running, that's why I couldn't find the file. So let's run it again. Util system upgrade initiate. Hopefully it will now find the COP file. Let's select the option 2 again because I want to use the FTP. Directory server admin password. Now it will try to find a valid upgrade file. Okay, as you see here, it has found the two COP files, the post upgrade check and pre-upgrade check. And I will select pre-upgrade check so that it could do the pre-upgrade check. Let's see what it does. Okay, after 10-15 minutes, it was able to access the file, and then it asks to start with this installation of the pre-upgrade check COP file. I will say please install, and then it will check a list of things. So what are the, so in the meanwhile it does the check, I will show you what are the things that the pre-upgrade file checks. These are these points that the Cisco Unified Communications Manager IM and Presence checks. So it says it checks about the installed COP files, network services, FIPS mode, password length, licensing sync and VMware tools compatibility, the disk space, if it's available or not, what are the registration status of the zip trunk and H323 trunk. That's really nice, because a lot of people miss these stuffs before the upgrade, and then they have some problems after the upgrade to say, okay, this was working, this was not working. So if you do this step to do a run upgrade readiness COP file check, then you have all the information what was working and what was not working. It will also say about the device registration count, and then TFTP maximum service counts and active and inactive versions, and all this stuffs will be available when you run this pre-upgrade COP file. All right, as you see, it has performed all the operations, and then here you have the output. It says total 8 tests were run, and then 5 have been passed, 1 has a warning, and 2 have been failed. I think it's VMware tools or something that has failed. And let's see what has failed. So there is this warning, update the native VM tools. Yeah, I know about this problem. That's a problem. And what else is a problem? I think it was talking about, let's see what was the problem. So if I run this error, it says if I want to check the report, I can use this commando or command file view install pre-upgrade report.txt, and then I ran that report, file view install pre-upgrade report.txt, and then it gave me all the report wherein it says 1.1 fail NTP network status. I know NTP is working, but it's at a different stratum. It's at a stratum 9, I guess, or a 10. I think, yeah, 10. That's why it is giving us a problem. But there should not be a problem in lab, but in production, make sure you have the right NTP servers, at least with NTP stratum 3 or 4, be a reliable source. I will, or maybe if possible stratum 2 or okay, and then the rest of these things passed. Network adapter type, file system check. You see, the cluster database status, COPS installed, nothing. It has passed, and then it says the native VM tools for optimal system performance. Of course, in my lab I don't have it, but it should work fine, I guess. And then upgrade checks pass, and there is no issues found, right? And then these are the services it has already stopped. So these are the network services. If I had the high availability, I had to stop the high availability in the IM and Presence before I could proceed with the upgrade. As I do not have a high available system, so I don't have two IM and Presence where the users are load balanced. That's why I don't have to do it. If I had this, I would have to stop the high availability from Cisco Unified Communications Manager and then proceed further with the upgrade. Okay, once the test has passed, let's run the same command again. Utils system upgrade initiate. This time I will starting with the upgrade. And then it's asking again from where do you want to start the upgrade? And I will say, okay, use local DVD CD. This is where I have installed my iOS. No SMTP host, and then it's trying to find out ISO file now for the upgrade, and let's see if it says it's a valid file or not. All right, it has found the file, ISO file, and it says the first option. I will start with the first option, and then it should start with the process of installation. It will take a lot of time. I will pause the video until then, or yeah, before I pause the video, this is very important step to match the version with this Cisco Unified Communications Manager. If you have a look at the documentation says on the upgrade tasks, if I go to the documentation steps, it tells us something if I do an upgrade via the CLI. Yeah, in the same thing that you are seeing in the browser. These are the phone models that will be depreciated. All right. Make sure you do not have any of this model already. You shouldn't have it already if you are running version 12. So it should be fine. Okay. And then it's saying switch to the new version if the upgrade is successful. I will say no because I would like to show you how you could do a switch version via CLI as well. I would say next, and then no, sorry, and then it says start refresh upgrade. Then I will say yes, and then it's trying to upgrade. I will pause the video for a while until it has upgraded the system, and then I'll. Okay, so I see that the installation of this CUCM IM Presence has failed. I don't know why, because it says it's a version mismatch, and it says please switch versions on the publisher and try again, but haven't upgraded it yet. If I see the documentation, it says if the upgrade of the IM and Presence database publisher node fails before the refresh upgrade causes the node to reboot, just reboot that again and then perform the upgrade again. So let's wait for the node to come back up again, and then we'll try to upgrade the IM and Presence node. I restarted the server. I just checked if it was just a false message and it was created, but no, it says there is no inactive version. So I'm just in saying still system update select option 3 from local C SMTP host to send me an email if my installation is complete or not. On the file, I'll say option 1 to new version if the upgrade is successful. Again, no. Start refresh upgrade. Yes. Tries again. Let's see. Successful now. Going through the upgrade and the upgrade failed again. Okay, this time it looks the upgrade is going through. The first thing that I did during this upgrade was I changed the NTP status or the NTP issue. I have resolved the NTP issue because initially it said that, I was running at stratum 9, and because of this there was a problem. And then I changed the configuration for my NTP server, and now you see that it takes the um, clock time from the CUCM publisher, and then it's at stratum 2, so that should be good enough. That's why I say that please do check that your NTP is available before you even start with the upgrade. The next thing that I did was, this time I said, all right, select all these things, but this time I said switch to new version if the upgrade is successful. Yes, right. So I could have said no because yeah, I could have showed you, but I thought let's try with this to just save time so that after it upgrades, it automatically switches to the new partition with the new version. And once it's done, I will get back to you again. Then I will pause my video once again. Okay, so I'm sorry, I forgot to start the recording, and yeah, I was just talking and talking alone, and now I recognize that I have to start the recording. So sorry. So I'm back, and we see that the system has upgraded successfully. So I will not run this command again. Maybe I'll run it again, not a problem. I'll just show you for now that we have, when I run this command, show version active, then you will see that the master version or the active version on the active partition is 12.5.1, which is newest version that we have updated to. And yeah, now let's run the post upgrade file or the post upgrade check. So basically what I did was uh, I already have my post upgrade file in the TFTP server, and I did that, but I would like to do this again and show you guys how does it really really look like. Okay, so I will say utils system upgrade, yeah, utils system upgrade initiate, and now it's asking me to use the download credentials and software locations from the publisher. So this is an interesting new thing that you see now, because it has now saved my FTP information already, and it knows about my IP address and SFTP or FTP or CD DVD IP settings, and then it automatically says, should I use this information that you used for the pre upgrade COP file installation, and I will say yes. And then it should try to find out, the information or the COP files from my FTP location using the FTP or SFTP information from the Cisco Unified Communications Manager publisher. Okay, so once it finds the necessary COP files here, as because I said here that you can use the FTP credentials and software locations from my publisher, but if you don't want to use that information, then you can say, then you can again provide the location of COP file where you copied it. No, it's FTP or it could be either FTP. It's better for you. Then I checked, I said option one because I wanted to score call manage up check cable for IM and Presence because now IM Presence is a part of Cisco Unified Communications Manager application. And once it starts, so it will first download the COP file from that location, and then it will try to run a lot of checks for the post upgrade that includes not only but also not only limited to the software version but also the configuration that was already available. So the pre-upgrades, is it matching with the pre-upgrade output? So configuration item is this is what it checks, and then it says in or out is equals to in, and then it is post upgrade check file, and filter it says passed, informations are correct, problem. And after this it runs a lot of device pack checks if they are okay or not, and then that it check a lot of py files which contains programs about checking the zip trunk status and a lot of other things. Show you uh, should be some file, for example this one CLI agent.py, so it's running this, and then it checks the enterprise service parameter .py files, and after checking all this data, it says that the test result is pass, right? And for this enterprise, but for the it should send us a report at the end. So basically, when the test is finished, it will give us a report that you can fetch out. This is the name of the file, post upgrade report.txt, and then it will give you a report about post upgrade test. Say it like, what is your active version? So this active version currently is 12.5.1.12.5, and the inactive version is iOS, or sorry, the CUCM IM Presence software version. And in case I have some difficulties using 12.5.1 and a lot of things are not working, I am eligible, or it is supported to go back from 12.5 to 12.0 because I used a direct it. And then it says what's the server name and then what kind of server it is. It's an IMNP publisher, and when was the pre-upgrade test done. This is the pre-upgrade date, and then was done on this date, and then post up of time. And then what are the tests that have been done? So the first test it checks is the post upgrade check that it does is network status. What is my NTP status, DNS status, and cluster node? My clusters are connected or not. That has been passed, and then it check if the network adapter type is correct or not. If I remember it right, then it should be VMX net E1000 shouldn't work. So it's net. Need to check. Then the cluster database status, it has passed. So that's the first section of the result. and then it checks the system status. So in the system status, it's checking if the COPS file was installed, and it says yes. And then is there any other software options? No. And then what is the version of my VMware tools? That's why it is giving warning, because it's not the latest VMware tools. And after this, it checks the tests comparison between my active and inactive version. And here you see that in the active version, the max duration was, I think it's 8 minutes or hours, I don't know. Here the value is 0. I think it should be 8 minutes. And enterprise parameter, it's a failed, because the values are not matching between the active and inactive. That's why. And then it checks if there was a problem with the CTI endpoint registration status, and says no issues, and it passed. And then status of the trunks, if there was any problem, no issues found, and it says it's passed as well. So it ran in total 8 tests, out of which 6 were successful or passed. I had a warning for VMware tools, and one test regarding the enterprise parameter failed. So I need to make sure that I change the enterprise parameters as it was before, or production tool. Okay, and yeah, that was it. I think this is simple than the migrations, or sorry, the upgrade that I have been doing before, because there was a lot of chaos and you have to make a lot of notes, and not easy after the post upgrade as well. Would be a little bit easier now. So I would recommend you guys to start doing the upgrades of your CUCM and I'm in Presence and other servers to the latest versions, as they provide a lot of new features. I would not talk about these features in this part of the video, because that's not my intention. And but yeah, I think you guys can make use of this video, and make some upgrades, and get some more information how it works, and make life a little bit easier with the latest 12.5 versions. Until then, I thank you all you guys for watching my video. And in case of any questions, please do let me know in the comments. And thank you once again. Have a nice day. Stay safe, and goodbye.